Hello everyone, I'm here with another video in which I talk to you guys about Fallout 4. In this video we'll specifically focus on the power armor in this game. Now this video may contain spoilers for the main game if you have not already played it, and the DLC Far Harbor potentially. Now, I wanted to make this video because I've seen various people say that power armor is really good in this game and power armor is really bad in this game. For me, I actually really like this iteration of power armor, even though it has a lot of flaws with it. So I plan on going over some points that I feel are very good for this iteration and some points that are horribly bad for this iteration. And I kind of want to discuss them and give my perspective, and I would also like to hear your perspective on all this as well. So let's go over the first good point. Now, I'm going to do 4 points for good and 4 points for bad. So the first point is that the power armor in this game actually feels really strong. It feels powerful, as it says. Let me compare it to the earlier iterations in games such as Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. In those games, the power armor more or less just felt like a suit of armor, like given the best suit of armor you can get, but just a suit of armor that you wear and you occasionally repair with other suits that you find around the wastelands. In this game, it feels like you're a walking tank. To me, it felt like when I put it on, I knew like I was going to get into a hard fight. That's why I got it. That's why I would fast travel clear back to my base and then go back to wherever the fight would be. Or I would wear it for like highly dangerous areas like the glowing sea. Since then, it's kind of died down for me, and still, I occasionally take it out for hard fights, such as my first encounter with a fog crawler, because I didn't know how powerful it was going to be. But still, like, I force myself to save the power armor for instances where I feel like I'm going to need its extra boost of ability, or whenever I want to just explore an area with the jetpack that I eventually modded onto it. The next point I want to talk about for the power armor and why it's good is it's hard to get the best set of armor. In Fallout 4, the best suit to power armor is the XO1 power armor that you can find as it randomly spawns around the wasteland. Occasionally you can find a full suit in one location, but more or less you will just find like a few bits and pieces of it on the power armor frame. Now this is kind of good because it makes you kind of work for the best suit. Up until then you're stuck with the suit that they give you or the suit that the Brotherhood of Steel gives you. So I just felt that was nice that they made it kind of difficult to get the really good suit. Next, I want to talk about the customization of the power armor. I really like that in this game you can give it paint jobs, you can add mods onto it. It feels like it's your own suit of armor, and it lets you make your already powerful suit of armor into basically like a titan of destruction that you take into the battlefield and wipe out everything with. Given your guns actually do the wiping out, but still, it makes you feel good when you walk in with a flaming hot pink power armor. No, I don't do that. I just go with the titanium plating. And lastly, for the good bits is with how powerful they've made the power armor now, they found out a way to fairly limit it by the use of power cores, in that the power cores will actually drain quicker if you use VATS or sprint around the battlefield. Now that's good because it gives a reason to limit your use of the power armor. And now on to the bad parts of it, which I really do want to talk about because some people like to ignore some of this stuff. Now I'm going to go from what angers me the least to what angers me the most. And again, this is going to be 4 points, it's not all of them. So the first one that irritates me is that cores are basically all over the place. You can find, you just end up with like a whole backpack full of fusion cores that you never use. For me personally, I've spent a good couple of hours, don't look at the Steam records, I've spent a lot of hours playing it, and I've nearly accumulated 100 cores that I'm not using. They just stack up in my inventory. And it's irritating. Like, given in Far Harbor, I've only found like a total of like 5 of them. I think, somewhere around that. They're not as plentiful in Far Harbor, but still, there's a lot of them around the place. And it's irritating because that kind of takes away its limiting factor. It's like, oh yes, you're limited, but here's a lot of what limits it. Okay. So the next point is just mostly an irritation of convenience. It limits your interaction with the environment, such as, for example, it won't let you use certain terminals, it won't let you use workstations, and it won't let you use the beds. Given, yes, I understand why it does that, just it's mostly irritating because then you have to find an open spot to get out of the power armor, and a lot of the time these spots are normally in tight corridors where it'll say you can't get out of your power armor at this moment. So, it's a bit irritating in that fact. So, it angers me just slightly more than there being a crap ton of cores all over the place that you could probably build a small house out of. Next, it starts getting into the bits that really infuriate me. This one is the fact that anyone in the Commonwealth can use power armor. Even raiders can use power armor, and guess what? They even have their own special set of power armor. Why did you do that, Bethesda? I remember back in like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, where when you came across an enemy that had power armor, you felt like you were going to go against a worthy opponent. I remember fighting off the Enclave in my Let's Play, and like they were reasonably hard, at least early on. You had to be wary of them. Nowadays it's like, oh, there's a raider with power armor, bang bang, they're dead, let's loot the fusion core. It irritates me because I remember I recently replayed through Fallout New Vegas, and it was a long while before I got my first suit of power armor, and I felt awesome when I got that suit of power armor. Now anyone can use it. It's like having a special club that's glamorized, that looks like amazing to be in, and then you find out that almost every single person is on the list again, and it kind of like dulls the experience in a sense. But even more so, since this is supposed to be like the best suit of armor, this is the best thing for the battlefield, and everyone can use it, and it's all over the place. You can find like suits of the blasted power armor in trucks that crashed on the street. Why? I remember it was so special when you got a piece of power armor. You knew you got something awesome. But now, oh, there's a truck. Guess what? There's power armor in it. A full suit of XO1 power armor. Hooray. Like, it's not going to be XO1 armor, but it's going to be like T51 or 45 armor. It's going to be like a decently good suit. But still, like, anyone can use it. It dulls the experience. And I remember talking with a friend of mine, and we were discussing about, like, why the main character was able to use the power armor so easily. And it's implied, at least, that your character was in the military, but that's why they already have the special power armor training that you used to have is already inherent in the character. But then you could shoot that idea right in the foot by pointing at a raider who is wearing custom power armor, or the Atom Cats, which approximately at least 50% of their population is currently wearing power armor constantly. It just irritates me with that type of crap. And lastly, the part that irritates me the most about power armor, the single thing that just ruins power armor for me, or at least the feeling of like acquiring power armor, is that within like the first 10 minutes of gameplay, if you know what to do, and if you know how to skip the certain portions, you can get power armor incredibly fast in this game. In like the first 10 minutes, 10-20 minutes, you already have a full suit of power armor with a minigun. That's another thing. It gives you a very powerful weapon early on, given not enough ammo for it, but still, like, it just throws it at you. It just gives you it in the beginning of the game. You don't do that for your most powerful thing. Given it's not the most powerful suit of armor, but it's one of the most powerful suits of armor. Just so infuriating that I can't say this enough. It just gives you it. Let me go back. In like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, you had to work to get power armor. For New Vegas, you had to work with the Brotherhood of Steel. You had to like kneel to them to let you use power armor, for them to give you the special training. For Fallout 3, it's been a while since I played it, but like you had to be buddies with the Brotherhood of Steel, and you had to be on their side, and you had to go through like a decent way through the story before you were allowed to acquire a suit of power armor. It just ruins the experience. It does, for me at least. It no longer feels like it's amazing. Like, it still feels awesome to wear it, at least at first. But for it to just give you the suit, it's just... I can't get over it. It's bad. It's one of the it's one of the prominent mistakes that Bethesda made in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a good game. Just, that's one of the prominent mistakes that they made with the game that's apparent to everyone, but not everyone wants to address it. Still, it's a good game, I'll say that. Fallout 4 is still a really fun game to play. They've just kind of ruined the experience of power armor. Especially if, like, this is the first Fallout game somebody's playing. Like, somebody plays this game for the first time and it's like, oh, awesome, power armor. And then they try to go back and play one of the earlier iterations of Fallout, and they're asking, hey, where's the power armor? How come I don't have it in the first hour of the game? It's because you had to work for it back then. Makes me sound like an old man, but maybe I am mentally. I'm not sure. Just, I kind of like, for me personally, I like working for something rather than it being given to me. That's kind of why it's the reason why I limit my use of power armor, even though I have enough to last me indefinitely throughout the game at the rate that I find power cores fully charged. Well, I guess those are some of my thoughts with the Fallout 4 power armor. I also wish to hear your thoughts on the subject as well, and maybe give me some other points that make the power armor better or make the power armor worse for the experience of Fallout 4. I do wish to commend the game at creating a new idea for, like, creating the new identity and the new idea for the power armor. The power armor is pretty good in this game. It's just, like, it's ruined by, like, a few facts such as those. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Share your thoughts and ideas down in the comment section below. I will be releasing more videos like this and probably getting started on a new Let's Play on my channel. And I will see you all later.